to talk about setting boundaries in life, at work, wherever. Right? Let's have a holistic kind of a overview about that. Right? But I'll just share my screen and you let me know with a quick thumbs up if you can see my screen as well. Right?
Yes, we can see.
Thank you. Thank
Yes.
you. Right. So my name is Aditi Sharma. I am a psychotherapist and a manager working at Manha Wellness. We have been partnered with Nova since quite some time, and it's been a wonderful journey of me coming here and talking about various topics and having engagements since forever. Right? So today I'm here to talk about setting boundaries, right? And we are shifting gradually from work-life balance discussions to how to really blend it into our or let it percolate into our systems so that it becomes kind of a default kind of a behavior now, right? So, this session, we are going to talk more about setting boundaries. But before we go on to that topic, I want you all to know that this month, the month of July, is the International Self Care Month. So, just wanted to start the session by asking you all that so far, we are on the 18th day of July. Or throughout this year, throughout a few months or few years, have you been taking care of yourselves or indulging in self care? Um, so when was the last time that you took care of yourself? And what did you
How to take care of ourselves. If the
do? Okay.
definition is clear, then only we can answer that. At least I can.
Okay. To place it very simply, doing something that makes you truly happy and makes you feel refreshed or re-energized to go back to your daily routine,
Oh, okay. Then I am, at least personally, I am doing that almost day in, day out.
day in, day out. Amazing. All right. Others, you can share it in the chat box. It's a huge crowd today, 123 people. Um, so yeah, quickly, can we get some answers? I keep my phone away 2 hours before I sleep. Lovely. टाइम नहीं मिलता है मैम right. Okay. Okay. So you attending this session is also a part of self-care. You are here to learn something, right? I hope you learned something from today's discussion, but at least you start thinking about setting boundaries to be very specific today. So that is also a part of self-care. Don't be demotivated that you are not doing anything at all, right? No social media, have a night meditation routine. Lovely, lovely, lovely. I am happy with these answers, right? Keep it coming. Listen to music, morning yoga for 10 minutes, mindfulness, right? Okay, great. I am loving the variety in the answers, right? So again, a small reminder for you to not wait for any self-care month or day or a Sunday or something to begin your self-care routine. You can start right here, right now as well, right? So let's start by having healthier conversations or engaging in what you think about setting boundaries in life, right? So this space is for you to safely engage, hold space for other people who are sharing with us, and we'll respect whatever people are sharing. So we'll hold that space for people, right? So great. I'm loving the energy already, right? Okay, so let's define what is a boundary. We are going to talk about boundaries a lot today, right? Um, yeah, I wish to know some like if someone wants to unmute and tell me, or place it in the chat box. Absolutely okay. What is a boundary? When you hear this word boundary, I know a cricket field might come in your mind, but let's hear some answers. Setting standards for people on how to interact with us. Okay, setting some expectations, right? Thank you, Ank. Fencing, right? Okay, a boundary is my line and nobody should cross it. Yes, beyond which things may get wrong. Okay, all right. A few more answers and we are good to go. Limiting ourselves. Okay, you are limiting yourself. right? Territory. It's my territory. Okay, this is my comfort, right? Not allowing things which affect us, setting up of limits, commitment for a task, overthinking and overdoing. Okay, all right. Okay. So, the kind of boundaries we are going to talk about today is a boundary which is an invisible line that can be created by an individual by choice, by a lot of thinking and understanding who they really are, um, could determine what behaviors from others are acceptable to them. Someone said that, okay, this is my territory, or beyond this line, things can become a bit murky, or um, it can become a bit more unacceptable kind of, it might take a unhealthy turn, let's put it that way, right? So just a thought to reflect. Have we all been able to set our own boundaries and maintain those? You can also tag me in your answers if you are saying yes, no, maybe, right? Have you been able to? Obviously, no, not all the time. Not all the time, right? Sometimes. I like if people are being honest in the chat box. Most of the times, no. Have to set boundaries, yes, right? So we are going to discuss everything about boundaries today, and I'm not going to instruct you a lot, but I'm going to make you think what you can do and give you a general kind of a path to follow, right? You can choose your own steps, you can choose your own direction, but I'm here to provide some insight on what are the prerequisites before you set the boundaries, right? So let's play a bingo. Okay. So there's nine options on your screen which shows different ways we can set boundaries in our lives. Right. It's a mixture of social settings, personal settings, family, work, everything. Right. So give yourself 1 point if you have done these, or if you are still doing this. Okay. So take 10 to 20 seconds and help me with a score, right? So I'll just keep this on, right? How many marks are you scoring? 8 out of 9, 4 out of 9, 9 out of 9, 0. I believe I've never set a boundary in my life. Okay. 6 out of 9, 4 out of 9, 5 out of 9. Lovely. Let the scores come in the chat box. Um, so people who are in the zone of 0 to 3, they can definitely do better. 4 to 6, you are already on the good track, and 7 to 9, excellent. You're doing it. You're killing it, right? So let's see how different behaviors can show one common route, right? Setting boundaries, right? You can politely say no, right? Setting a boundary with a family member, asking for alone time, standing up for your own needs in a space where there are a lot of people, there are a lot of um, situations happening parallelly, right? Respecting partner's boundary, leaving a situation which feels overwhelming. All of these things show that you are prioritizing yourself. You are doing something that aligns with your own territory, right? I love this metaphor that is being given to it, territory. I love this, right? But let's move on and let's look at what are the boundaries you need, right? Some people always associate setting boundaries with only at work because it's kind of a more formal kind of setting where we can do this a lot more easily. People just consider setting boundaries within the family as okay, this is a family, we love each other. How can we set boundaries in a family setting where we are more close to each other or in relationships, right? But if we don't do that, eventually there will be times where you will feel like this is overwhelming, or why is this out of my control? Why am I not being able to solve this? Why are we not being able to solve this issue? Right? Why am I being expected to step down, back off, say sorry? Right? So let's see. First, you need physical boundaries, right? To protect your personal space and body. Okay. Then you need emotional boundaries, right? To protect your thoughts and feelings. Third, you need professional boundaries to protect your limits at work, right? Also, to convey what the co-workers can, how they can speak to us, right? So I'm just going to check the chat box. I believe setting boundaries is selfish nature. Okay, we'll talk about that, right? Verbal boundaries, how I spend, um, verbal boundaries, what I speak, right? Spiritual boundaries protect my values and what I believe in. And the last is sexual boundaries, which to protect my preferences and safety. Right? These are several boundaries. There is a collection of boundaries in different life settings. Like at work, there will be a combination of physical, emotional, and professional boundaries. In relationships, there will be a combination of emotional and sexual boundaries. In a family setting, there will be a combination of spiritual boundaries and physical boundaries or emotional boundaries, right? But these are several boundaries that we have and we need to think about, right? Not all can be maintained at the same time. It's not possible for a lot of people, and it's understandable why is it so. But these are several boundaries that are actually there, right? All right. Okay. So let's reflect. Okay. Um, in what situations or interactions do you feel your boundaries are being crossed? First question. Can we answer this first question on the slide? In what situations or interactions do you feel your boundaries are being crossed? Where do you feel most people struggle taking a stand for themselves? Or you struggle to take a stand? Anger? Okay.
Somebody is coming close to me without my permission,
Somebody is
emotionally,
coming.
physically, or anyway.
Yes. Yes. Okay. When someone takes my weakness as an advantage, when someone asks for a favor, okay, people pushing us even when I say no, trying to manipulate. I will be good friend at workplace, but when it comes, he will be selfish. Okay, right. All right. Thank you so much for sharing. Keep sharing. If you're typing it out, please press send and share. How do you usually respond when someone crosses your boundaries? You know that this is okay, this is off limits. This is crossing a line, which, okay, I am feeling a certain way. But how does it come out in your behavior? Does it come out in your behavior, whatever you're feeling inside, or is it suppressed, or is it like, okay, I can talk about it later?
Must be outburst of emotions, strongly
Outburst of
saying no.
strongly saying no, which might come off as a selfish kind of a behavior or over
Obviously,
touchy, over sensitive. Why are you being so hyper reactive about some
or
things?
over aggressive.
Over aggressive,
It can be a combination of all.
right? It's like imagine overfilled cupboard and someone is still filling clothes in the cupboard and there's one trigger and the clothes come out on our body,
In
right?
such, yeah, in such
Yeah,
situation, sometimes I really like, I don't want the someone should ask me that question, but I simply just smile and just keep quiet over there. I never answer for that question or something
yeah.
which when if it seems like it should not be asked or should cross that limits.
Right.
Same.
So we are living in times where we are seeing a side of social media which talks about stay calm, stay, go into a zen zone, do not respond, do not react, right? But we are normal, working, have a very hectic kind of lifestyle kind of humans, and we wish, we aspire to do the zen and calm and everything, but we still are bound to react to certain situations which make us feel overwhelmed, right? So even if Kapil has mentioned, thank you so much for sharing, that you tend to smile and let it happen, whatever is happening. It still it bothers you somewhere, right? It chips somewhere, right?
Yes,
It does,
it
right?
does.
It does, right? So we are addressing that. We can be calm, we can be a good person even if we are setting boundaries, even if we are saying no. That is the whole point of having this discussion today, that um, there are some barriers that we have in setting boundaries. We'll see that as our session progresses, right? But okay, I can see some answers in the chat box, but due to time constraint, let's move on to the next question. What are the three specific areas in your life where you feel you need to set clearer boundaries?
Yeah, there are particularly three questions, from old school boys also they ask, भाई कितना कमा रहा है आजकल? Then that is one kind of other question. Then I said one is भाई चल रहा है, पेट भर रहा है बस इतना ही. So like that I set my boundaries, from the family, where when you are moving forward or when you are coming to our hometown, like that questions. So I said one, yeah, I'll be there very soon. Like that questions I give them, like this answers I give them. And yeah, in office, if someone is asking some, that should not be asked by someone, I focus on the questions. That time we think about the boundaries that this should not be asked, right? So that time I answer them, okay, this is in my mind only. I give them that this is none of your business. Just keep your work yourself. Like
Right,
that only.
right,
So like that. Mm.
right. So I'll just physically demonstrate what boundary setting looks like. So imagine these are situations. This is situations happening around you. And these are things which you can be aware of. This is what happens. These are the
Aditi, we
You are
can't hear
not
you.
clearly audible.
Is it just for Uday or for others as well?
No,
For
no.
all, now
Yeah.
you are
There's
audible.
yeah.
Now
Now,
clear.
now you are
Okay,
clearly audible.
okay. So imagine this is your life situations which make you feel anxious, insecure. It doesn't align with your value system and all of that. And when you don't set any boundaries, you are this person and you are just diving into the conversations or situations around you, um, and you are absorbing everything. And when you come out of the situation, you have absorbed all the insecurities, and it reflects in your life, right? So what are we trying to understand here, that how boundary setting works? It works like this. You are still a part of that conversation situation, but because you have set a boundary, you are not absorbing anything, right? So this is what I just wanted to make it more clearer, right? Setting a boundary doesn't mean that you have to completely disengage or completely isolate yourself, that oh, this is not something I'll do at all. You can be a part of it, but you choose till what time, or what is my limit in this conversation that I will stay a part of it,
It is a
right?
manipulation, isn't it, Aditi? Sorry to interrupt you. It is a manipulation. We are choosing our involvement gradient for our convenience. Isn't it
Hmm.
selfish? Again, I am coming back to the point.
um it will be selfish if um it is disregarding of other people, what they are saying, and we are being, it shows up in our behaviors, we are being completely rude to the other people. So I am going to specifically have a discussion on this point, right? But let's can you just
Carry
hold this
on,
thought for,
carry on, carry on. I
right?
have that in my mind, so don't
Yeah.
worry. I will ask you for sure.
Sure. Okay. So let's understand why boundary setting helps, because it helps. There is expectation clarity, there is decreased stress because you have been able to convey, and it's out that what you really expect. There's increased respect because you're holding on your ground. It words of burnout because you are not thinking about what will the other person think, what will I do, if I don't become a part of this engagement, what will happen. You are not completely exhausted by these thoughts. It improves relationships because you might inspire the other person also to do the same, and you go in the direction of a healthier relationship. It promotes autonomy. You can take your own decisions because you are good at boundary setting, right? So let's see in this path of your boundary setting, what might be the roadblocks, right? Um, First is fear, right? Can we have some opinions on what can be different fears that people might have? Fear of cash. Can we fill in this blank? Fear of, okay, I'm opening my chat box. There are a lot of messages. I'm happy to see that. I may lose friendship if I say no. Okay. Being left out, fear of rejection, FOMO, right? Yes.
One thing
Fear
is
of,
missing, Aditi. What will I think about myself if I
hmm,
say no? That is missing. I mean, in the example of slide, I mean, the slide talks about what others will say and what the environment will think about me. But
right.
what I will think about myself if I say no, it is not
Hmm.
reflecting anywhere.
Okay. All right. So, can it be called as fear of losing your own self? Can we say that?
Losing my intent of getting involved in that activity, and that is more important than others, and that is
Hmm.
missing.
Right. Right. Okay. So these might be some fears that might be stopping us. Let's talk about guilt. How much, how many people here feel guilty when they set, or when they even think about setting a boundary? Like, I have to say no, but how? Like, how can I say no to this person? This is a very significant person in my life at work. How can I say no to my manager, right? So there's guilt, right? Am Any new mothers, new parents in the house, right? Can we have a thumbs up, right? How, what is the amount of guilt when you think about, I need my alone time, I need some time away from my kids,
So
right?
Aditi, is it self-exclusive?
Sorry.
Is it self-exclusion, like excluding ourselves from everyone?
I have never heard this term, but yes, setting boundaries might make you physically isolate yourself for some time, do something that makes you feel refreshed, rejuvenated, and come back to what your life was before setting, like your normal life is, right? So setting a boundary is always thought about, a life changing, you have to do a lot of things to maintain that. No, it's quite simple and can be very minimal in nature also, that you can continue with your life, but you still are healthy. You are not absorbing any negative elements in with you, right? Okay, all right. Also, what might stop a lot of people is lack of self-worth. That do I deserve this break? Do I really can I really take this break? Do I deserve this kind of treatment? I am the younger one in the family. Do I really have to think about how elders treat me? Right? So it's again, it's questions about what the person deserves, right? And it commonly shows up when um, with younger people, or with people who think they are the subordinate kind of a person in the relationship or at work, right? So these might be Who decides what I deserve? This is something that you can answer to yourself, that what you actually deserve. Only you can define that for yourself.
And for that matter, in that case, I will never, for example, mention myself that you deserve some break. I will never do that because
Mm,
I will always underplay the performance, maybe
mm,
depending on the nature, and I will
mm,
expect more and more things from
mm.
myself and try to drag myself, isn't it? And that's what might be happening uh, behind the scene. You can see from
Yes,
my questions.
yes, that might be happening. Yes. Okay, all right. Again, there are a few questions that we might, or decisions might, or statements we might be saying to ourselves, that what if I don't get invited the next time? What if this makes me feel look weak and I can't handle my job? I'll add one more question to it, that what if I lose my sense of self? What if I don't explore what I deserve in my life? What if not setting boundaries, or setting boundaries restricts me from exploring what can happen, right? So, again, these are some questions that we might be asking to ourselves, right? Okay. So I just wanted to I when I was researching for this topic today, I just came through this
Boundaries? It's disrespectful to say no to your elder. We don't have access to technology at all times. So when we're out of office, we're out of office. Because of technology, we can work everywhere. So I have to set firm boundaries. I have no problem setting boundaries to protect my peace.
which one are you out of these four, or where are you? What do you think between one or
All,
four?
all.
All.
Obviously,
It dep-
yes, isn't it?
yeah, yes. But I would love to hear from others as well. If I have to play the video again,
Sorry for
depends
that.
on
I
the
have
mood.
been talking much more than others. Sorry.
No worries, no worries. I'll play it again.
Boundaries? It's disrespectful to say no to your elder. We don't have access to technology at all times. So when we're out of office, we're out of office. Because of technology, we can work everywhere. So I have to set firm boundaries. I have no problem setting boundaries to protect my peace.
Right. I have played it again. You can tell me where you find yourself on most of the times.
Fourth,
Okay. First.
last one.
Last one. Right. Okay. First last. Okay. All right, right. So see how setting boundaries is a very diverse kind of a behavior, and that's why we can't really pinpoint or have a set structure that okay, in my family I set boundaries like this, I will replicate this in my workplace. No, we can't do that. There is no one way to do this, right? And that's why we can't stress about it too much. That what should I do? What should I do? What should I do? Right? We can be more flexible with ourselves. We can keep exploring, right? So, all right, great.
Boundaries?
All right. Let's look at how to do this, how to set some boundaries, right? First step is to really understand and recognize that you are worthy of this boundary, or it's not an unrealistic or uh, hyperactive demand that you're making to the other person, right? whenever it Whenever we talk about setting boundaries, there's always one you with one or more people, right? So in those situations, when you are setting boundaries, you have to first recognize that you are worthy, you deserve this, or you have thought it through. Or even if you have not thought it through, even if it is out of a reaction, there's something that has has not been reciprocated, and that's why this urge of setting a boundary is coming out in your mind, right? So if it's an urge, then it's a urgent call that you need to do something about it, right? You need to convey that this is not okay. You need to convey that no, you have to tell them that you can't attend this. You have to tell them that you can't provide them support, financial support, whatever the situation is, right? But first we have to convince ourselves that okay, this behavior that I am going to do, I am going to say no, this is okay, this is fine, because it is going to eventually it will make me feel better, right? Again, the problem here is most of the people think that it is selfish to say no, right? But if we keep doing things which are not aligning with our core, with our value system, it is not going to be healthy for us as well. It will eventually show up in our behaviors towards other people, and it will make things sour, right? So eventually it is going to hamper us, our relationships, our work. So why not set boundaries and be clear, have expectations, find a mid ground. It's not about saying complete 100% no, staying completely 100% isolated. No, right? When there you start talking about setting boundaries, there will be some kind of understanding, some kind of collaboration happening with the other party, right? You will make a choice of coming 50%. You will come to a point where both of the parties feel okay, this can be doable, this is doable for both of us, let's do this, right? But first we need to be aware that this is something that I need, this is something that I deserve, and this is something that will keep me, my relationships, and my work healthy, right? So first step is to understand and recognize. Second is understand. Okay, again, boundary setting can be very slippery slope. People can take it too well. Oh wow, great. This is good behavior. They'll applaud you for doing it. But sometimes people might get hurt. How can you say this to me? Out of all people, you are telling me this, right? But again, for our peace of mind, or we have to focus on things you can control and things you can't control, right? You can't really control what the other person thinks about you once you have set boundaries. Think of this scenario in your head right now that you have set a boundary, and you know the other person has not taken it well, right? You might go into a phase where you are over explaining that why are you saying no. Again, it's hampering your self confidence because it's showing that you are not really convinced about saying no, right? Once you start over explaining, then it shows that you are really trying to control the other person's reaction. In that situation, you might agree to do some things which really do not align with you just because you want the other person to feel happy, right? So again, in situations where um, there is an conversation happening where you have to set boundaries, we can really park the thought that I can control the other person's reactions. We can really let it go, right? Understand this, right? That you cannot control all the factors and also keep yourself happy. So you have to prioritize, right? The third thing that is the most important is check if you are creating boundaries and not barriers. You are not burning the bridges, right? So you have to be respectful, you have to be clear, and have you have to be convinced yourself that this is what I need. Yes, right? This happens a lot when people think that the other person is creating barriers because the way they are speaking, again, the tonality matters, the words that they have chosen matter, right? So keep checking that am I being too unreasonable about this? Is this something that I can are there parts of the situation where I can be okay and let it go, and hold on to only few parts of the situation, right? So make sure that you are not creating barriers but boundaries. Yes, I am looking at the chat box right now, and someone has said intention matters. Yes, right. So intention is all that matters. Also, how we speak is what also matters, right? So, all right. Any questions here?
So, I mean, how, I mean, sometimes when we create boundaries, unknowingly we create barriers as well. I mean, I think it's our mentality. I mean,
Hmm,
so how to differentiate that, and how, I mean, how to control, how to make sure we will not make barriers
right,
while making boundaries. I
right.
mean, there's thin line between boundaries and barriers, I think.
Very thin line, very slippery, very fine line which can be crossed, right? Again, a lot of it depends on the how the other person perceives your request or your need, your expression, right? But first, we need to be sure that this is what I want. I don't want to create a barrier. I want to create a boundary, and you are presenting a holistic, like you are being holistic in your expression. That you have a reason that why this need has come up. You are stating the need perfectly, what you actually need, without going or shifting onto different tangents while communicating, without taking the conversation way off track. And in this, while you are talking about what you actually need, what your boundary, what how you are setting your boundary, you are not being disrespectful of the other person, right? This is how much we can actually control what we think, what we are saying, and what is our intention. That's it. That's about it. What we can control. We can't control if the other person looks at it as a barrier or a boundary, right? In that moment, they might have a sudden reaction to it. We can't control that as well, right? Um, So a part of it, when we talk about barriers, it's all also about how the other person looks what we are saying or perceives what we are saying. But what we can absolutely 100% control is how we are presenting it, right? It's like providing cushions for a very smooth landing, right? So have those cushions, give a lot of support to what you are saying, because it might lead to the other person feeling like like the other person is breaking it off or creating a barrier around, right? So this is how much we can actually realistically do. Okay. Okay, so this is one video. Being a psychologist also, when I watched this video, I felt it could have been toned down a bit. Let's hear your opinions as well. Okay. So I'm playing this video.
I was joking. You need to stop being so sensitive.
Yeah, I didn't find that funny.
I really think you need to lighten up. I'm always on edge around you.
You made a joke that I didn't find funny about what I was wearing. I'm letting you know it's not okay with me.
Listen, even my sister says you're touchy, and I really need to be able to say what I want without feeling like you're jumping down my throat.
I'm not jumping down your throat when I tell you I don't find something funny. I don't want what I'm wearing to be made fun of, just like I wouldn't make fun of something you're wearing.
I felt like they'll pull each other's hair in this conversation, right? What could have been better? Or how would you do this if you don't like something? How would you express? I want to hear some opinion. I have kept this video as an open engagement kind of a thing. The joke went too far, I feel like, yeah. But just a general question, was the person who is saying that she felt bad about it, Um, wrong? Is the yellow t-shirt person wrong? The person was reacting too emotionally. Which person? And by the end of the video, I did not know who is hurt more. Is it the person who got trolled or joked on, or is it the person who made the joke? She was more aggressive than assertive, right? So intention was to tell her that I felt very bad. Please don't make any jokes on my clothes, please, because I don't like that. I don't even do that. So I expect that you also don't do that, right? If this was to humiliate, then yellow shirt was correct, right? Right. So even if this video was by a trained and experienced psychologist, and still we could find some things that could be betterly presented, right? So okay, all right,
I was joking. You need to stop being so
all right. Let's try out now. Let's try doing a few scenarios which are quite relatable to everyone present in this room. Right. Situation first is you are completely swamped with projects lately and it's getting really stressful for you. Right. And there's one person adding on to that. How would you uh place a boundary or politely say no or tell them how you are actually going, what you are actually going through, and this additional project can make you feel more overwhelmed. What can you say?
Maybe present facts. I mean,
Present facts. Okay.
yes. I
Okay.
mean,
All right. Come on, let's try it out. You can give me little phrases also in the chat box. Just don't do some projects, no one's gonna fire you. Okay. Okay. All right. Taking it to the extreme, the person might not be also feeling like they'll fire someone, right? It's just a normal conversation that there are a lot of things that the person is doing. There's a lot on my plate. Let's be more corporate about it. So being professional, I would say I have too much on my plate. Can I take the seat? Yes. Okay. All right. This is a very formal way of speaking. This is not how we speak in our offices. But again, look at the essence of it. Like you really appreciate that you are being assigned to new projects, but you are handling a lot of projects at this point of time, and it will hamper the quality, right? So again, very subtly you are mentioning that how taking on these new projects, even if you are the most capable person, even if you are the one who can take one project to the next level, even after that, um, then the quality might be hampered, right? Okay, second situation. My family expects me to attend every family gathering, but I need some personal space. How can you say no to family in a way that doesn't hurt them and doesn't end up in a fight or an argument or a taunt?
listen to them and keep quiet.
Huh? Be
Listen.
quiet.
Yes. I mean, anyways, if we say something, there will be an argument. So I will listen to them, and then try to explain them. If they don't understand, then I'll keep quiet.
Keep quiet. Okay.
No, speak the truth. Don't ever tell a lie in a way to the family. Speak the truth, and whatever is there in your mind, speak with them. They will understand being a family.
They'll understand being a parent. Right. Okay. Who dares to deny them? I am in your team. I can't deny my parents. Right. Okay. I will say I have office work. Okay, all right. Lovely. Let's see again. It's a very formal kind of response. I love spending time with everyone, but I also need some personal time to relax and recharge. I might not be able to attend every gathering, but I'll make sure I to join whenever I can. Whenever my favorite cousin is joining in, I will come there. Right? Maybe that. Right? This is a formalized version of how you can speak, but look at the essence of it, right? Focus on the essence of it. It's a family, they'll understand when we explain. That's the expectation. Great. Situation number 3. People often give unsolicited advice about your personal life choices. Again, how can I save uh, my family from taunts of how I have been brought up? If I'm rude, then it's my parents who will get taunted that how have you raised this kid?
Be a good listener. Uh, d-
Listen to them, but don't act.
Yeah, listen to them. I mean, no harm in getting the inputs, but do
Hmm.
whatever you are capable of as well as you are intending to do. I mean,
Listen to them and
it will not hurt them, and it will not affect you because anyway you are going to do whatever you want.
right, right. Again, just a general question. Even if we do this and let's look at the response also. I'll just paste it on the slide. I wanted to ask a lot of people that even if we do this, even if we are like, it doesn't matter, who are you to tell me? In our minds, we are saying all of this, but does it at all times not affect you? Because I get affected even if I have decided to stay calm and smile,
So
keep smiling, keep smiling.
if you are confident enough, it should not affect you. If you are
If you're
firm enough, it should not affect you. If it is
hmm,
affecting you, that means you are not confident.
right, right, right. But a lot of people unfortunately get even if they are not reacting to the statements, even if they are not reacting to the advices given to them, they do get affected by it. It really chips their self-confidence as well.
That
Like
is
this
a
is the reality.
weakness. That is a
It's a
weakness, and we should work on that.
yes, yes. It is something that people can work upon. Absolutely. Yes. Great. So this is not something that we haven't done at all. Setting boundaries is not something we haven't done at all. We know a lot of things. We have Google to our rescue that how to do this, wiki how, right? But still, we know everything, but we might not be doing a lot more, right? And that's where the GI Joe fallacy comes in that we know, but or knowing is the half battle one. We have to do it, right? We have to implement it, right? Okay, so you do it and you set a boundary. We have been doing this. You might be doing this a lot more times, but you have to keep it consistent, right? How to keep it consistent? There might be times where you have set a boundary, but you later realize that okay, I can let this go. I don't feel that overwhelmed at this point of time. So I can just let it go. Allow yourself that kind of feeling, or that you can let this boundary go. I can be okay about people talking, right? We do reach certain ages or certain stages in our life where we are not bothered by a thing, right, that we were bothered about a lot before, right? But again, the consistency is in thinking about what is bothering me, what is not bothering me, right? So keep on reflecting on that. Communication is the most important thing here, and introspection that this boundary setting was not taken very well. How do I feel about that? Is it going to affect me? Is it going to stop me from maintaining my boundary? Yes, no, maybe. Again, introspection. Ask yourself before setting a boundary. Ask yourself how you feel after setting the boundary. If your emotional reactions or responses are more overwhelming after setting a boundary, then maybe you need some more help to understand how I can healthily do it for myself and for the other people. Right? All right. And lastly, Um, okay, before we move on to this, I will stop sharing my screen and have an open chat with the people here because we are quite reaching the end of the session, and I just wanted to know what did you understand today? What did you reflect today on that you were not thinking about too much?
Personally, even though I have not agreed to few of the points, I must say,
Hmm.
but it was a fantastic session, number one. Number two, at least it could give an outlet to whatever personally I was thinking after reading the subject of the session. So it was a good outlet, number one. Number two, you were quite receptive to the people, whatever we were saying to you. You were quite receptive. I think that is one of the key takeaway that at least we should receive, we should be synced, and then we can react. So it was a good learning, at least for me, and it was good. I mean, about the boundaries as a subject, I might have difference of opinion, but I like the way the session was conducted personally. Thanks
Yeah,
for
I
that.
yeah, I would love to bring that to notice that difference of opinions is very integral to boundary setting, right? This might lead you to set a boundary, right? And you at the end of the session or throughout the session, you being completely honest about how you feel was really um good, and I was thoroughly engaged. Thank you,
Right.
Samir, for
Thank you.
sharing.
Thanks for everything.
Anyone
Thank you.
else would like to share what they learned today?
Yes, Aditi, I mean, like, I've got some key aspects about setting right boundaries. Difference between boundaries and barriers, and the main part was the intention. Like, if you have right intention, you can keep a good boundary. Expanding that small boundary into a large boundary and asking right questions, the
Mhm.
communication part. So it was good, fantastic session. I've learned many things. Thank you.
Right. Thank you. While I hop on to yes, Pallav.
I would just like to add one thing that in throughout this process from identification to setting the boundary and communication, I feel like patience is the most important key because whenever you're talking about all of these lines, it's just a very hairline difference between you are just going to bust out and you are going to shout or someone else is going to shout. So patience is a very underrated player over here.
Mm-hmm. Yes, thank you. Thank you for sharing. I have pasted a link in the chat box for you all to share the feedback for the session. And right, it's a very short kind of form while I speak about self-care and boundaries. If you are already setting boundaries for yourself, kudos. It's a difficult thing to do. It might need more conversations than we have had today. We just had 60 minutes today. But a general direction is to first understand or be okay, be convinced that, okay, I can do this, or I will not be taken back from my decision by the emotional reactions of other people. We have to be careful how we share our boundaries. We have to be careful how we convey our needs, right? We have to respect other people's boundaries as well, right? We have to keep it simple, but crisp and direct. And we if we are seeing people struggling with their own sense of self and doing things way beyond their physical and emotional capabilities, we have to keep encouraging others to set boundaries as well, right? Setting boundaries doesn't mean that we completely disengage or break from people or partners or organization or co-workers. It only means that we are willing to have a healthier kind of relationship, whatever relationship we have with people around us, right? So with that, I bring the session to an end, and I would love to see more faces so that we can click a group picture and call it off today.